of the Decans and the stars. Since in thy former general sermons, Father, thou didst promise me an explanation of the 36 Decans, explain, I prithee, now concerning them and their activity. There's not the slightest wish in me not to do so, O Tat, and this should prove the most authoritative sermon logos and the chiefest of them all. So ponder on it well. We have already spoken unto thee about the circle of the animals, or the life-giving one, of the 5 planets, and of sun and moon, and of the circle of each one of these. Thou hast done so, thrice greatest one. Thus would I have thee understand as well about the 36 Decans, calling the former things to mind, in order that the sermon on the latter may also be well understood by thee. I have recalled them, farther, to my mind. We said, my son, there is a body which encompasses all things. Conceive it, then, as being in itself a kind of figure of a sphere-like shape. So is the universe conformed. I thought of such a figure in my mind, just as thou dost describe, O Father mine. Her. Beneath the circle of this all-embracing frame are ranged the 36 Decans, between this circle of the universe and that one of the animals, determining the boundaries of both these circles, and, as it were, holding that of the animals aloft up in the air, and so defining it. They share the motion of the planetary spheres, and yet have equal powers with the main motion of the whole. Crosswise the 7 they are checked by nothing but the all-encircling body, for this must be the final thing in the whole grades of motion, itself by its own self. But they speed on the 7 other circles, because they move with a less rapid motion than the circle of the all. Let us, then, think of them as though of watchers stationed round and watching over both the 7 themselves and over the circle of the all, or rather over all things in the world, holding together all, and keeping the good order of all things. Thus do I have it, farther, in my mind, from what thou saidst. Moreover, Tat, thou shouldst have in thy mind that they are also free from the necessities laid on the other stars. They are not checked and settled in their course, nor are they further hindered and made to tread in their own steps again. Nor are they kept away from the sun's light, all of which things the other stars endure. But free, above them all, as though they were inerrant guards and overseers of the whole, they night and day surround the universe. Do these, then, also, further exercise an influence upon us? The greatest, O my son. For if they act in them, how should they fail to act on us as well, both on each one of us and generally? Thus, O my son, of all those things that happen generally, the bringing into action is from these. As for example, and ponder what I say, downfalls of kingdoms, states rebellions, plagues and famines, tidal waves and quakings of the earth. No one of these, O son, takes place without their action. Nay, further still, bear this in mind. If they rule over them, and we are in our turn beneath the 7, dost thou not think that some of their activity extends to us as well, who are assuredly their sons, or come into existence by their means? What, then, may be the type of body that they have, O Father mine? The many call them daemons. But they are not some special class of daemons, for they have not some other kind of bodies made of some special kind of matter, nor are they moved by means of soul, as we are moved, but they are simple operations of these 36 gods. Nay, further, still, have in thy mind, O Tat, their operations, that they cast in the earth the seed of those whom men call Tanas, some playing the part of saviors, others being most destructive. Further the stars in heaven as well do in their several courses bear them under workers. And they have ministers and warriors too. And they in everlasting congress with them speed on their course in her floating, fulfilling all its space, so that there is no space above empty of stars. They are the cosmic engine of the universe, having their own peculiar action, which is subordinate, however, to the action of the 36, from whom throughout all lands arise the deaths of all the other lives with souls, and hosts of lesser lives that spoil the fruit. And under them is what is called the bear, just in the middle of the circle of the animals, composed of 7 stars, and with another corresponding bear above its head. Its energy is as it were in axles, setting nowhere and nowhere rising, but stopping ever in the self-same space, and turning round the same, giving its proper motion to the life-producing circle, and handing over this whole universe from night to day, from day to night. And after this there is another choir of stars, to which we have not thought it proper to give names. But they who will come after us, in imitation, will give them names themselves. Again, below the moon, are other stars, 9 corruptible, deprived of energy, which hold together for a little while, in that they've been exhaled out of the earth itself into the air above the earth, which ever are being broken up, in that they have a nature like unto that of useless lives on earth, which come into existence for no other purpose than to die, such as the tribe of flies, and fleas, and worms, and other things like them. For these are useful, neither to us nor to the world. But, on the contrary, they trouble and annoy, being nature's by-products, which owe their birth to her extravagance. Just in the same way, too, the stars exhaled from earth do not attain the upper space. They cannot do so, since they are sent forth from below. And, owing to the greatness of their weight, dragged down by their own matter, they quickly are dispersed, and, breaking up, fall back again on earth, affecting nothing but the mere disturbance of the air about the earth. There is another class, that of the so-called long-haired stars, appearing at their proper times, and after a short time, becoming once again invisible. They neither rise nor set nor are they broken up. These are the brilliant messengers and heralds of the general destinies of things that are to be. They occupy the space below the circle of the sun. When, then, some chance is going to happen to the world, comets appear, and, shining for some days, again return behind the circle of the sun, and stay invisible, some showing in the east, some in the north, some in the west, and others in the south. We call them prophets. Such is the nature of the stars. The stars, however, differ from the star groups. The stars are they which sail in heaven. The star groups, on the contrary, are fixed in heaven's frame, and they are borne along together with the heaven, 12 out of which we call the zodiac. He who knows these can form some notion clearly of what God is. And, if one should dare say so, becoming thus a seer for himself, so contemplate him, and, contemplating him, be blessed. Blessed, in truth, is he, O Father mine, who contemplateth him. But 'tis impossible, O Son, that one in body should have this good chance. Moreover, he should train his soul beforehand, here and now, that when it reacheth there, the space where it is possible for it to contemplate, it may not miss its way. But men who love their bodies, such men will never contemplate the vision of the beautiful and good. For what, O Son, is that fair beauty which hath no form nor any color, nor any mass? Can there be aught that's beautiful apart from these? God only, O my son. Or rather that which is still greater, the proper name of God,